Well, we are continuing with the book Daily Abundance, Increase, Abundance, Overflow, and More Than Enough. Can you affirm that with me today? Increase, abundance, overflow, and more than enough. We've moved from the introduction of chapter 6, week 6, and we're now on page 50. Yes, we're on page 50, and it's called The Cup and the Saucer. Again, we're looking at Psalm 23 and verse number 5. He anoints my head with oil, my cup runneth over. And our affirmations, I freely give out of my saucer and never out of my cup. I freely give out of my saucer and never out of my cup. All right, affirm that again. I freely give out of my saucer and never out of my cup. Let me just say this. We all are givers. There is no person on this earth that is not a giver. We all are givers. Every person on this earth is a giver. And we give every day. We give our time. We give our talents. We give our treasure. We give every day. Can you affirm that with me today? That every person on this earth is a giver. There is no way to live on the earth without giving. Giving your time, giving your talent, giving your treasure. Every person on this earth is a giver. Yes, even the person who you feel is stingy, even the person who you feel is a hoarder, every person on this earth is a giver. The question is not whether or not you are a giver. The question is, where are you giving from? Can I say that again? The question is not whether or not you are a giver. The question is, where are you giving from? I'm going to say that again. The question is not whether or not you are a giver. Every person on this earth is a giver. It's impossible to live on this earth without giving of your time, giving of your talent, giving of your treasure. You give on your job, you give in school, you give in your neighborhoods and your communities. You give to your wife, your husband, your partner, your spouse, your boyfriend, your girlfriend, your boo. You give every day to your children, your sons, your daughters. You give every day. You are giving your time. You give to your local assembly. You give to your ministry. You give to your business. And I'm not just talking about giving money, but I'm talking about giving your time, giving your talents. Every person on this earth is a giver. So the question is not whether or not you are a giver. We all are givers. The question is, where are you giving from? Can I say that again? We all are givers. The question is, where are you giving from? That's the question. Where are you giving from? Are you giving from your cup? Or are you giving out of your saucer? We all are givers. The question is, where are you giving from? Or from where are you giving? I was an English teacher in a former life. From where, comma, are you giving? The question is not whether or not you are a giver. The question is, from where, or where are you giving from? All right. So I'm going to give you my points right up front so we can just dig in today. Pulley point number 1 is picture. That God, and this is a metaphor. Again, these are images, these are metaphors, and every metaphor breaks down at some point. But we're using practical, natural things to convey some spiritual, some kingdom principles. So we're using everyday things to be able to convey spiritual principles. So it's a metaphor, it's an image, it's an analogy, all right? And they all break down at some point. It's not a one-to-one correlation. But I'm using these things to help us get a tangible picture, to get an idea, to get an image of our mind of how abundance works. And today we're talking about how it works. How does abundance work? How does overflow work? How does increase work? How does more than enough work? All right? So pulley point number 1, we're just going to start with a picture. Just imagine this as a picture. All right. And I put as much water so that I can pour. So pulley point number 1, when you use this metaphor, God is the pitcher. God is the source that the water is coming from. Pulley point number 1. Pulley point number 2 is that my life is the cup. All right. So God is the pitcher. I am the cup. And they are the saucer. All right. Did y'all catch that? Pulley point number 1. God is the pitcher. I am the cup. They are the saucer. Don't ever get it twisted. God is the pitcher in this metaphor. I am the cup. Pulley point number 2. They are the saucer. All right. God is the pitcher, pulley point number 1. I am the cup, pulley point number 2. They are the saucer, pulley point number 3. Y'all got your points? Give me a thumbs up. Give me a high five. Give me a heart if you got your 3 points. If you got your 3 pulley points for today. God is the pitcher. And when I say pitcher, I'm not talking about pitcher like a frame pitcher. I'm talking about pitcher, Pitcher, the pitcher. You know, where the water is, where you pour the water from. God is the pitcher. So I'm giving you a picture of abundance to see God as the pitcher. All right. If you got that, give me a thumbs up. Give me a high five. Give me the heart. That God is the pitcher. I am the cup. They are the saucer. All right. You got that? So pulley point number 1, that God is the pitcher, which means that God is the source where I get my water from. That God in me, that there's an internal well, which is spirit. That God is the pitcher, that God is the source where I get my water from. And so that's why I'm in constant relationship with God. That's why I pray, because I realize I know where my pitcher is. I know where my source of water comes from. I know where the well in me comes. It is God. It is spirit. It is the Holy Spirit that is my source of abundance, my source of good. Amen. Water is, God is the pitcher with the water. The container is like your image of God. All right. Thank you, Patty. I like that. So the pitcher is like my image of God. God is the water itself. All right. So how you see God, so God is the water itself, right? The pitcher is how I see God. How I am able to contain this idea of God. All right. Some people see God as mother. Some people see God as father. Some people see God as friend. So whatever way you see God is the picture, but the water is God itself. So you have an image, a picture, something in your mind that contains the idea of God. This is a good question. That was a good question, Patty Superman. That's a good question. So God is the water. God is the source. The picture is my idea, my image, my metaphor that contains the idea of God. But God cannot be limited to any image, to any metaphor. But the question is that I have to have an image in order to see God, because God is beyond my comprehension. God is beyond my understanding. But yet I form a picture of how I see God. But God is the water itself. Y'all got that? All right. Wonderful. Again, Patty Supernet asked the question, what is the water? All right. So the picture is my image of God. God is the water itself. Did you catch that? That every one of us have an image. Every one of us have a picture. Every one of us have an idea of God. So God is the water itself, but my idea of God, how I contain the idea of God, is the picture. So when I'm going back to be filled, I'm going back to how I see God. I'm going back to my image or my metaphor of how I see God. All right? All right, because I never get the water unless I have an image of how I see God. Because God is everything, but yet God is none of these images. God is all, but yet God is none of it. God is not limited to any picture we have in our minds. It's just for us. The image is for us. Whether you see God as mother, father, sister, friend, you can change the picture. You can get a glass pitcher, a crystal pitcher, a silver pitcher, a gold pitcher, a porcelain pitcher. The picture is how I'm seeing God. I can see God as doctor, lawyer, father, mother, friend. That's why it's the I am that I am. All right? So we got the picture, which is how I'm seeing God, but God is actually the water itself. But I need an image to be able to contain my idea of God. So God is the source. This cup does not get filled without the pitcher, without the water. The way that this cup gets filled is by the pitcher. And so I am holding in my mind that God is my, and some people can use this water, the ocean, the river, just the water, whatever. God is contained in so many pitchers. Even if you look naturally, you can see water coming out of a faucet. You can see water coming out of a stream. You can see water out of an ocean, water out of a sea, water is in so many different containers. And so many times, thank you, Holy Spirit, we are expanding our container. We are expanding our picture, our idea of God. All right? God is the source, but I need a container to be able to make that source real and relevant in my life. All right? So what God does is that when we see God as picture, when we see God as source, we go back to the picture, we go back to the image, and it is through the picture that we are filled. It is through my relationship with God. It is through my communication with God that my life is full. I didn't wake up with this water. This water came from a source. This water came from a source. This water is God. And I got it from my picture, my container, my image. How I'm seeing God is how my cup gets filled. So the cup represents your life. Your life is filled through your relationship with God. God is the source. God is the joy and the strength of my life. God is the source, and my life is filled through my relationship with God. All right? And so God is the water, the picture is my image of God. And so, which means that this God is in me. This God is flowing through me. This God is functioning as me. God is flowing through my health. God is flowing through my relationships. God is flowing through my life. My life is full. And I keep refilling through my relationship with the source. There was a wonderful question that Don asked a couple days ago. Water evaporates. Yes, but I keep refilling myself through my connection with the source. I keep being filled on a daily basis. That's why the book is called Daily Abundance. That's why you're checking your water levels every day, because it is a relationship with God. And so God is the water in this image, in this picture. I am the cup. The cup is a container for water. It is a container for life. It is smaller than the actual pitcher. And then the saucer, my life is full and overflowing. And so they are the saucer. Let me say this to you. God is the pitcher, the water in the pitcher, my image of God. My life is the cup that's filled with God. I'm not filling it with things. I'm filling it with God. And God manifests in various ways in my life that keep me full. But my relationship with other people is this saucer. I give to other people out of this saucer. I don't give to them out of this cup. Because when I give to them out of my cup, that's where I get frustrated. That's where I get burned out. That's where I get mean and angry and nasty and cantankerous when I try to give the people out of my cup. The source flowed into my cup so that my life can be full. And so everything that's in that cup I need for me. But that's why I need abundance. That's why I need overflow, so that I can give to you from my saucer. God is the pitcher. I am the cup. They are the saucer. Now let me say this to you. This is what God showed me this morning. God is able, source, is able to pour from the source, from the pitcher, directly into the saucer if that's what God desired to do. But God desires you to be a conduit. There's no reason why God cannot pour directly into the saucer other than God desires you to be the conduit, you to be the vessel through which good flows through. God is pouring in your life so you can pour into others. Love God, love yourself, love everyone else. When I recognize God as the pitcher, when I recognize God as the water in my pitcher, I'm loving God. I'm relating to God. I'm one with God. When I see myself as the cup that causes me to love myself, to take care of myself. And then when I'm taking care of myself, then I'm able to give to others out of my saucer. We all are givers. The question is, where are you giving from? Are you giving from your cup or are you giving from your saucer? Are you giving from your overflow? Because when you give from your overflow, God always pours more into you. We freely give and we freely receive, but this cup has got to be full. Your life is a manifestation of the fullness of God. As you are in the presence of God, you are filled full and you are fulfilled. In the presence of God is the fullness. In your presence is the fullness of joy, the fullness of love, the fullness of peace, the fullness of health, the fullness of harmony, the fullness of wealth. It is all in the presence of God. We don't just start with the cup. We got to start with the source. We got to start with the pitcher. We got to start with the source of where the water comes from. And so God is that living water. I am the cup. My life is meant to be full and overflowing, that I give to others out of my saucer. Did y'all get that? This is how this prosperity system works. That I stay in relationship with the source, knowing that my job is not the source, my paycheck, my retirement check, my pension, my unemployment check, the government, none of those things are the source. God is my water. God is my source. And God is who is filling me. God is who is taking care of me. God is who is refreshing me, reviving me, renewing me. And then when I am revived, restored, refreshed, then I have something to give to other people. I can't give to them out of my cup because I need that for me. I got to love myself. I got to take care of myself. I got to, when I'm eating the right foods, my cup is staying full. When I'm exercising, my cup is staying full. When I'm getting my sleep, when I'm resting and relaxing and vacationing, when I'm taking care of myself, all these things are the ways that the source tells me to take care of myself so my cup can stay full and overflowing. And then when I take care of myself, when I love myself, out of the abundance of my love, I'm able to give to others cheerfully, freely, and liberally with no strings attached because my cup is full. When we are giving, when we are not able to give cheerfully, freely, and liberally with no strings attached, it's because our cups are not full. But when my cup is full, when my life is full as a result of my relationship, my divine connection to Source, I can give freely from my saucer, cheerfully, freely, and liberally with no strings attached. And so I'm encouraging you today to work this system, to see God as the water, to see your picture as your image of God, how you contain this source, this water, to see your life as the cup, and to see all of the people that you give to as the saucer. We all are givers. The question is, where are you giving from? Are you giving from your cup, or are you giving from your saucer? I love you so much. Thank you so much for being a part of the Daily Download.